Hey up! Oh, that's tuned in again to Bingley Wheeler. Out and about in God's own county on my fabulous Yamaha FJR 1300. What's this channel all about then? Rides in the beautiful county of Yorkshire and surrounding areas, Cumbria, Lancashire, Peak District. Aye, and a bit of Yorkshire wisdom, because we like to say things how they are up here. We're not overly concerned with sensitivities. Hey. Oh yes indeed. Aye. Which does not mean that we're a bit thick, by the way. Hell no. Right, so yeah, out and about on my fabulous new to me 2007 Yamaha FJR 1300. It's only the second time out on this bike, but absolutely loving it. And just a couple of things that I have to acclimatise to with this here bike, given that my other bikes are all sort of mid-range. All sort of with between 20 and 66 brake horsepower if you like, and this bloody thing's best part of 150. Ho, ho, ho. So the two things that I have to get used to, bearing in mind this is a 18 year old bike and all my other bikes are about a year old. What am I having to get used to? Well, three things really. The power is phenomenal, considering this thing weighs nearly a third of a ton. Phenomenal power. Second is the brakes are as keen as mustard, but then all my other bikes have just got a single front disc with just one twin pot caliper, whereas this has got two whacking great discs up front with two 4-pot Nissin high-end calipers. So the power, the braking and the suspension is sublime. It's way better than anything else I've got, let me tell you. So there we go. A 18 year old bike knocking spots off the rest, which are pretty much brand new. Ooh. A few of you have asked for a more detailed walk around on this video. I've done a short video recently, you may have seen, of a walk around of this here bike, but I'll stick another up somewhere I think, or failing that I might do one while I'm out and about. But it's in cracking condition for the age. So yeah, really enjoying this bike. Now can I say an absolutely heartfelt thanks to everybody, and there were lots of you that commented on that video I posted about my parents and how they spent the end of their lives in different nursing homes at different times, and my sort of thoughts about that. And thank you to everybody for your stories outlining similar circumstances. Some a lot better, some sadly a good bit worse, and everywhere in between. But in every case, fundamentally underpinning the same emotions that we all have when it comes to our parents, and when they pass on and hand the baton of life over to us. I read every single one of your stories. I've acknowledged all of them. I've certainly tried to acknowledge all of them, and some of them very touching indeed. Some of them very sad, some of them quite reassuring, and some of them yeah, quite uplifting in their own way. So thank you for that. It certainly helped me, and I know a lot of you have said that that video in a lot of ways helped you. So that's what I call a noble symbiosis. Ho ho ho. Get your head out of that dictionary, Wheeler. Right, I'll just take it steady here because there's that much wash off from the torrential downpours last week. Look at it all here. Look at this. All this dither. Dither everywhere. Yorkshire word, that, dither. So thank you for that. Oh, dare we engage in a bit of social commentary? Ho ho ho, dare we? Well, I will, because the majority of you out there that commented said carry on with it. Don't change the formula. So I won't change the formula. So we'll just get through these shitty roadworks at the A59 in Blubberhouses. We'll get t'other side. And I tell you what's sparked my curiosity this week. Ooh. What piqued my curiosity this week? Well, I hate to tell you, or to say rather, that I told you so. He said, gloating. I hate to say I told you so, but a few weeks ago I did a video where I talked about my real concerns about increasing state interference and control in our lives, and the legislative framework and the legislative overreach designed to support that increasing intrusion. Alright, and I said, watch out, digital IDs around the corner, and lo and behold, our leader, and I don't mean the king, our leader has just announced that that's what they intend to do. Digital IDs. Now, it is being marketed as a means to control and monitor illegal migration, specifically where those people who fall into that category seek to get employment. So that's how it's being marketed. And I would suspect that the majority of right-thinking people out there do accept and understand that all democratic states need to be able to control migration. Of course. Not end it completely, because if we did, as I said just last week, the care industry would collapse overnight. Forget it. You can forget adult social care without some levels of legal migration. And I also said last week why it's a ridiculous notion to say that we should mandate homegrown people into those roles. And if you don't know what my argument was there, please feel free to go and have a look at that video. But the care industry is the last place in the world where you want to have people who have been forced to be there. So there is that. So digital IDs being marketed as a means to get some traction, particularly on illegal migration. And I absolutely agree with that. Illegal migration needs to be more effectively controlled and regulated, and I don't think that anybody disputes that. And because very few people dispute that, of course, what an ideal shtick with which to extol the virtues of digital IDs. Now, don't get me wrong, in isolation, I see no fundamental problem with digital IDs, except I would have two observations. But in isolation, I see no real problem with it, because we already have identification, most of us, driving licenses, passports, national insurance numbers, National Health Service numbers. It's just that they're all positories, don't they? So the idea of the digital ID is that everything sits in the one place, which strikes me as a bit of a hacker's dream. If all of your personal data, everything, is stored in one place, then it's a hacker's dream, isn't it? I think you'd find that identity theft would go through the roof, because these systems can never be made completely secure. And if the government systems, they probably haven't got a cat in hell's chance of being completely secure. So my two sort of observations with which to caveat that general view are that, one, historically in this country we've resisted any form of compulsory identification, digital or otherwise. We had it through the Second World War. It was grossly unpopular, it was seen as very un-British, and in the early 1950s it was scrapped, oofed out, flushed down the old Kazi. And then in the 90s, the Blair government then, they tried to introduce it. Well, there's another control freak for you. Another bloody war criminal, if you ask me. Another meddling, interfering, self-obsessed, crusading individual that, yeah, wanted to bring in ID cards, fell flat on its face, got its ass kicked out in no time, because we weren't having it. It's un-British. So there have been various failed attempts at bringing it in. But my main rub with it, my main issue, and this comes from decades of experience working with, for and alongside government, both local and national, is that it's just the first step in an alarming direction. So when these things break cover, they are never exactly what they seem. They are always nothing more than the first instalment in a line of measures that will incrementally click into place while we're not paying much attention. And my view is, and it's one based purely on historical patterns and the way that the authorities conduct themselves, my belief is that this is just the first increment, the first instalment to bring about an amalgamated digital identity, central bank digital currency, CBDC, and a social credit file, which will be the ultimate in control. So yeah, I hate to say I told you so, but I did say it was around the corner. Here it is. And I am absolutely certain that it will evolve into something much more controlling, bit by bit. We'll try and get it in under the radar. I've said before, dare to blink and it'll be here.